Oh yeah. Now, every so often when you're lost in the bush and you're starving, you come across a food resource. This is known as a bush nut. This could save your life. This could be the difference between seeing the next day or dying a horrible death on this rock shelf. Jill, would you like to try some bush nuts?
I think I might let you try first and then I will.
All right, see, Jill's onto me because in fact this is what's known as a wallaby scat. And for those who don't know what a scat is, that's why we have Google. Look it up, S-C-A-T. Please don't eat this, even if you're hungry, because when you look up scat on Google, you'll actually find out exactly why this would be a bad idea. It's wallaby poo. Welcome to Envirotube. This month we're actually at the Wildflower Garden at St Ives. We're going to wander around, have a look at some wildflowers and see what we can see. A whole lot of horticulturalists / plant lovers cannot help themselves, so if something doesn't occur naturally, don't worry about that, we'll just plant it. So the gardens are actually filled with a whole lot of natives that don't really belong here at all, and the coastal rosemary is one of these plants. We have here a native plant, Westringia frutosa. It's often used in gardens, but for me it's a trap for new players that if you don't prune it after it flowers, you end up with a very ordinary looking plant, very long stems, a little bit of foliage on the end. It looks pretty terrible. If you're going to put a Westringia in your garden, please prune it.
All natives are meant to be pruned anyway, aren't they?
They love a pruning after they flower, but I've seen so many not pruned. It's certainly a plant I avoid. If there's been a horticultural trend over the last 10-20 years, it's been the development of love of grasses. And Australia is filled with interesting grasses. This one's an unknown one, and maybe one day it'll make its way onto the garden scene, Costus pentandra. And if you have a look at it, it's just got these cute little flowers. It's just beautiful. Hi Jill, this is one of the iconic Australian natives. What is it?
It's Banksia Surata, and that's the one that appears in May Gibbs's book on Snugglepot and Cuddlepie, and it was the big bag of Banksia man. But it looks evil, doesn't it? It is the remains of the flower, and the bulges on it are the flowers that have been fertilised and developed into seeds.
Very good for wildlife because they flower during winter, so they provide a good source of nectar just at a time when there's not a lot out.
And it's another one of the Australian plants that need to be opened by fire, or on an extremely hot day sometimes they open and the little seeds fall out.
So if you don't have one of these plants in your garden, why not? They're fantastic for wildlife, they're beautiful, they're iconic. I mean, what else do you need? Do I have to go to your place and plant it for you? I didn't know these green flowers.
No, they're not flowers, they're the seed pods.
Oh, the seed pods.
But they haven't matured properly yet.
Immature seed pods. We have here Hakea propinqua. Now, if you look here, we've actually got the fruit after it's mature. It looks completely different to the green fruit we just looked at before. Completely different, quite a contrast. And in fact, this hardened fruit needs a fire to open up. Okay, well, you can see here the fruit before it gets mature. Completely different to the mature fruit, very green, relatively soft.
Yeah, there's often a lot of woolsey eye. Sometimes you get an orchid or two along here.
Banksia ericofolia. Guess what? It's named after Eric. It's one of the great small trees of the Sydney Basin. It's like having a restaurant in the bush. Pygmy possums love it. Birds love it. When it flowers, once again, Banksias provide a very useful source of food in winter. Then once all of that's done, you end up with the seed pods waiting for a fire to explode into life. While that's happening, the black cockatoos will work them over. So in fact, it really is a restaurant. You've got the entree, the main course, and the black cockatoos are eating dessert. Then the fire comes along and the whole process starts again. Square metre for square metre, you would have to think this has got some of the best biodiversity on planet Earth. And why do we have it? The only reason we even have a wildflower garden is The early settlers here couldn't farm it, so they left it as natural bushland. And thank God for that, because we have the insects, the birds, the plants. It's truly amazing. I hope you enjoyed this Envirotube.